This is a review of the Phylink Bullet 1080p outdoor IP camera. Stay tuned to see if this camera is all bark or actually has some bite. I just finished unboxing it and I must say it does make an excellent first impression. I've owned many security cameras. This is by far the heaviest and most well-built camera I've seen. This camera is all metal, there's no plastic here. That's very refreshing to see since almost everything these days is moving towards the cheapest plastic construction possible. The mount seems fine, but the junction box is plastic. The only problem I see so far is that this is an outdoor camera, but this is most definitely not an outdoor power supply. The junction box isn't big enough to contain the power supply, so that means you'll have to either buy or make a weatherproof housing for the power supply, or do what I'm going to do, which is plug in the power supply inside the house and run the cable outside to the camera. If it isn't long enough, then that's an easy fix by just splicing some inexpensive zip cord to make it reach. Overall, this looks like a very promising camera. I'm going to take the camera to the equipment room to plug it in now. Okay, I just have the camera plugged into the power and decided to take a quick look at my connected wireless devices in my router, and the camera didn't show up. So I decided to actually look at the manual, and it does state clearly that the camera must first be plugged in directly with an Ethernet cable for initial configuration. Then it can be run on Wi-Fi and never have to be hooked up via cable ever again. So I'm going to do just that. Okay, first we'll plug the Ethernet cable into the camera. I don't have a tripod in here, so sorry about the jerkiness. This is the cord that is supplied with the camera. It's pretty short, but it'll work. Now I'll take the other end and plug it into the switch. It looks like I have exactly one port free on this switch. I guess it's time to upgrade. Okay, so now the camera's plugged into the power, and it's plugged into the switch, which goes to the router. That's literally all there is to it. The camera came with an installation CD, but I don't like using those because you can never be sure you have the latest version of the software. So I went to Phylink.com to download the software. That's PHYLINK.com. Then I click download. Once you click download, you simply need to scroll down until you see software. Then click on Camera Live for Windows. Once that downloads, simply install it. I won't bore you with the details on how to do that, it couldn't be easier. Okay, once you have it installed, go ahead and open it. Now, this really is the first time I'm opening the program, so bear with me. According to the Quick Start Guide, all I have to do now is click the plus here. Then click Discover, and it should find the camera. You may have a firewall dialog box pop up asking you to allow access to the software. Of course, you'll need to click yes on that. Okay, here we are, and I don't see the camera. So I guess I'll troubleshoot a bit, and we'll be right back. Okay, it's literally 10 seconds later. All I did was close the dialog box out and reopen it. I didn't even close the whole program. I clicked cancel, then just tried clicking the plus again, and this time it showed up. So now you have to select the camera. In my case it's easy because I only have the one camera set up so far. So now that I've clicked it, it shows the UID and wants a password and also wants me to give it a name. Since I read the Quick Start Guide, I know that the default password is admin in all lowercase letters, and I can give it whatever name I want. I'll name the camera Test for now. So then click OK. I didn't actually read past that part, but I'm going to assume all I have to do now is double click on it and it should come right up. And yeah, there it is. I have it pointed towards a box or something, so it doesn't look very good right now, but it is working. So, well, that really couldn't be any easier. There was just one little glitch where it didn't find it to begin with, but that was easy enough to figure out. So now we have this installed on Windows, but it's still hooked up with an Ethernet cable. According to the manual, from this point forward, I should be able to unplug the Ethernet cable and it should work wirelessly now. I should also be able to download and use the app for my iPhone now too. So I guess I'm going to go try it out. Okay, I'm back in the equipment room now, so I'm going to unplug the Ethernet cable and see if I can still access the camera. Okay, the only thing plugged into it now is power. So I have a monitor set up here in the equipment room, and I still have the software running, so let's see what happens if I double click on it. And nothing. Okay, so I guess I'll look into this and be right back. Okay, so I just had the camera plugged into power only and looked on my router to see if it could see the camera over Wi-Fi, and it couldn't. So I guess I'll do something I'm not very proud of here and actually read the instructions. So it's been about 5 minutes and I have it plugged back into the switch now. I decided to see if maybe I had to enable the wireless from within the web server on the camera. So I'm logged into my router now to see if I can find the IP address so I can just pull up a browser and log into the camera directly instead of fooling with the software. So I go to my network and scroll down until I find something that wasn't there before, and all the way at the bottom is an entry for PLC-335w, so that must be it. I see the IP address now, and it's 192.168.1.43. So that means all I have to do is go to that IP address to access the camera directly without having to use the software. Bear with me while I type that in. Okay, and there's the camera. So instead of going to live video, I want to go to settings. Now, I must admit I did click on this just a moment ago to see if I was on the right track. A dialog box popped up and asking for the username and password. Both are admin in all lowercase letters. So just type admin for both the username and the password and you'll be in. Okay, so now click on network, then wireless setup, and then we'll see what the problem was and why it didn't work wirelessly before. The SSID, or your network name, wasn't in the camera. So wireless is enabled, but it doesn't know which wireless network to try and connect to. So we're going to tell it. This is where you just click search and it will come up with a list of all the available wireless networks. Simply select your SSID or network name and make sure you have good signal strength, then click OK. Then click Apply. It says wireless setup accepted successfully. Now I have the security mode set to off, just so we can get in here and see if it works. Let's click test and see what happens because I haven't done this yet. Okay, it says wireless testing, please wait a while. So I guess we'll wait a while. Okay. So it just says wireless setup successful and that is connected. So I'm going to go back into the equipment room again and unplug the Ethernet cable and see if it still works. First, let's make sure it's working now. Yeah, here's the equipment room. That's a fan blowing extra air on a computer. Long story. Okay, so, well, I guess I'll just take you with me. Let's go unplug the network cable and see if it still works. Okay, here we go into the equipment room. There's the camera. That's the network cable. I'll just unplug it. There. Okay, the network cable is unplugged. And let's see. I'll go back out to the computer. Say hi, Miss Kitty. Okay, let's see if this still works. Well, the picture is frozen, so that's not a very good sign, is it? It's just black. Okay, I see the camera. Let's double click from here and see. It says test is connecting, and let's see if it can connect. can't say this has been very difficult. It's not as easy as it should be, but this hasn't taken very long, and it actually would have gone much more quickly if I weren't trying to film and explain everything as I was going along. Oh, there it is. So we've got it back up. There you go. So, not very hard, but if I would have actually read the manual to begin with, it would have been even easier. The whole thing from start to finish took less than 15 minutes, and that was with me filming it. I guess that's about it for the PC. Now I have to download the app for my iPhone and see how that goes. I have to say, this image is really nice. I'm coming from a 10-year-old camera system that's only VGA, which is 640 by 480, and by comparison, this is just perfect. I have to say, I'm actually really impressed. I can't wait to replace the old camera with this one. This is going to monitor our driveway. The reason I got this camera was because we had an attempted break-in a few months ago, and even though it was caught on camera, we couldn't tell who it was and we couldn't read the license plate. So that started me on a search for a replacement camera, and this heavy-duty camera at 1080p is just perfect. So, is the Phylink PLC-335w 1080p IP camera all bark and no bite? No, it bites. And at Bulldog Gadgets and Tool Reviews, that's a good thing.